Yo, what is up, everybody? Back again. Y'all already know what
Nail,
it is.
play that shit.
Oh yeah!
Oh man, this man got the background.
You already know, man. Get that money, man. Get that money. Straight to the house. Ain't no fuck that shit. Easy money. Easy money. Well, it should be easy money, but like
Look,
I said,
knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Look at the rookies we drafted. We got Dean and we got Davis. Two for Jordan. It doesn't get better than that shit.
yeah, put that shit up.
As Rick and Bobby said, if you ain't first,
You're
you're
last.
last.
Exactly.
Second place is at 2.
Definitely gonna make up for it.
Trust me. I need a sports podcast, man. I need it. Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to the I Need a Sports podcast. Your host with the most, Cam, myself, Bryce. Time to get into this NFL Week 13 roundup. Like we said, it was a good week of football. Not a good week for me personally. My Chiefs took a L. Cam's team clutched up a dub. Defense goal line stopper at the end made Russell Wilson look, like the Russell Wilson we saw last year. AFC playoff picture just gets even more crazier. We got some more key injuries, which sucks to see. The NFC playoffs, things aren't as muddy as it is in the AFC, but as we'll touch on later in this episode, it kind of seems clear who's number one over there as of right now. But like I said, week 13 roundup, we're gonna kick it off with that first game Thursday night. Jerry's World, Cowboys versus Seahawks. It was actually a battle throughout the whole game. I don't think anybody had DK Metcalf going for 3 touchdowns on their bingo card versus Deron Bland, but that's exactly what he did. Cowboys did clutch out a dub 41-35, which was crucial, which sets them up for this upcoming Sunday night game versus Philly. And it's not necessarily for first place in the division, but it's almost for first place in the division. Cowboys need a little bit more help from someone else to knock Philly off one more time to get that. But yeah, man, what'd you think of that Cowboys performance? I know after this week of NFL or after this NFL week 13, it depends on which book you look at, but basically it's either Dak or Brock Purdy at number 1 for the MVP favorite right now. And they both sit at like either plus 300 or plus 350 odds. But another great game for Dak. He's been balling, and technically on paper, this was a win against the winning opponent because the Seahawks were 6-5 coming into the game. So you gotta give him his props. How you feel about Dax playing the Cowboys this past Thursday?
Man, them boys they was looking pretty legit. Like you said, on paper they were 6-5, so he finally got that he can't beat a above 500 team, this year or whatever off his books, whatever. But no, man, Dak played extremely well. I mean, he ever since after the bye, you said it. Ever since after the bye, he's just been completely on fire, just killing the smoking teams left and right. Even at loss versus the Eagles, Dak was he was on fire. So I mean, Dak been playing really well this year. He definitely should be like in the conversation for MVP, or if not, he should be the MVP. CD also looking good. They finally getting Brandon Cooks more involved, and that boy Jake Ferguson, he's a dog. Next up. Yeah, he a dog. He next up for sure. I think Jake Ferguson up next up for sure. But man, it's just crazy to see Deron Bland get cooked like that for like pretty much the whole game. He got cooked, and it was like it wasn't even just by like DK. It was by JSC was cooking him. Tyler Lockett was cooking. I mean, everybody was just cooking him left and right. He did get interception. I give him that, but still, he was getting cooked by DK. Like he just could not hold DK whatsoever. Then DK get in the end zone. He do his little sign like this thing.
Standing on business.
Standing on business. Gino played well. They just just lost at the end there. So no, that was a big win for Dallas. Pretty much that was a good football game though. I enjoyed it.
No, it was definitely a good football game. Like you said, Dak balled out. I think he finished with like 299 yards, 3 touchdowns. So 1 yard away from a 300-yard game, but damn near a 300-yard game. Like you said, Jake Ferguson, man, he was not only talking his smack after the fact on certain plays, but he was getting involved and doing his thing. Had the game clinching touchdown on Jamal Adams, and him and Jamal Adams have been going back and forth throughout that whole game. But yeah, the one or I have two concerns though coming out of that game for the Cowboys. So it seems like coming into it, of course, the narrative has always been, what can Dak do against good teams? Now, I'm really not hating Cowboys fans. I think I said it on last week's podcast, but if I didn't, I don't when I think of the Seahawks, I don't think that's a good football team this year. Like they overachieved last year. They got happy. I don't know why you signed a 33-year-old Geno Smith to that contract after he had one good year out of 10. That's neither here or there. They did it, so they're stuck with it. But that defense, like we were talking about last week, they had just benched Woolen. He hasn't been looking that good. Like last year, they were the second youngest defense, I think, behind my Chiefs. I think they still are second youngest this year, but you're expecting them like as good as they played last year to even make a bigger jump this year, and that just hasn't happened. But on the flip side, like since Dak took care of all that, the offense was rolling, doing their thing, 41 points. You can't complain. On the flip side, Dallas's defense, like I said, they've been beating up on mediocre quarterbacks all year. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how they've been running scores up. They play a serviceable QB. I think they're averaging probably like 35 points a game. Philly scored like 27. San Francisco scored the 42. And then Seahawks this week get 35. So that defense, as good as it is on paper and as dominant as they are versus bad quarterback teams, the rest of their schedule, they're going to be playing serviceable quarterbacks, if not some of the top quarterbacks in the league. This week they get Jalen Hurts again, who obviously hasn't been playing up to his standards, as he will tell you every post game. Mr. Perfect over there. But they're gonna face him at home. I think Dallas can win that game the way Philly has been looking these past couple weeks. But then they also got to face Josh Allen. You don't know where Josh Allen will be on that roller coaster. My Chiefs get him this week. I know that roller coaster gonna be super high because that's their Super Bowl. So I'm already expecting a Josh Allen masterclass game, just because like that's always what he does. They got Tua and Tyreek, so that Dallas defense is gonna be tested. So that's my first concern there. Like, can the defense actually be as dominant as we think they are? Offense, no complaints. They holding up on their end right now. Obviously, they'll get a chance to prove it versus these good teams coming up on the schedule, but so far, so good. And then secondly, and it's kind of goes with some of the current headlines. I don't know why this slipped out or who let this slip through the cracks, but I mean, if Jerry's a good owner, he should just shut the shit down immediately because who wants that distraction with your team? But reports came out earlier today that if the Cowboys have another failure in the playoffs this year, they're gonna fire McCarthy and then hire Dan Quinn, who's 500 as a head coach and a defensive-minded head coach, and then that's gonna be Dak's new head coach. Like, that's the one thing you could do that could set Dak back is give him a defensive-minded head coach
Yeah.
with the offense rolling like it is. And then, like I said, Dan Quinn, a career 500 coach, notorious for, the Super Bowl choke versus New England. He was the head coach of Atlanta then. But Mike McCarthy, man, he's still the same old Mike McCarthy when it comes down to it. Dallas won that game in spite of him, not because of him. At every turn, I was watching the Amazon Next Gen broadcast. So like on that one, they give you the percentages of like when it's like a 4th down and 1, they're like, their winning probability is like 62% if they go for this. Whereas if they kick this field goal, their winning probability is 27%. It was like 4 separate occasions where Mike McCarthy made the anti-analytics call, and it almost came back to bite them for real. Because it's just like to end the game, they're up 3. They have the ball in their territory. Seattle has 0 timeouts. It's a 4th and short. they decide to, on third down and short, they decide to throw it deep in the end zone for whatever reason. That stops the clock for one. You could have just ran the ball. It would have been 40 more seconds off the clock. You could still stupidly kick the field goal, but then it probably would have been like 4th and inches, 4th and 1 if you don't pick it up. You go for it, because if you go for it and get it, the game is over. They don't even get the ball back. But you know what Mike McCarthy did? He threw the ball on third down, stopped the clock with 1 minute 50 seconds. Then he kicked the field goal to go up 6, therefore leaving it up to his defense to have to hold Seattle without getting a touchdown when they should have had at max probably 40 seconds left if they were going to touch the ball again.
Mm-hmm.
But just stupid stuff like that will come back to bite you in the playoffs when you are playing good teams and you mismanage situations that badly. I don't know why it's just not a automatic job role. I mean, you see Philly, they got the, what is it, senior security officer. Like,
Yeah.
every team needs a position on their coaching staff that is just the analytics guy. He's got his
Mm-hmm.
iPad, and after every play, he's running through the analytics of probability of what we should do according to the statistics. Because that game probably should have ended in a double digit win for the Cowboys, but it was just stupid decision after stupid decision on Mike McCarthy's part. And luckily, Dak and the boys put together that game winning drive, and defense was able to stifle Geno one more time, so it didn't end up biting them in the butt. But if they would have lost, a
Ooh.
lot of talk would have been going towards Mike McCarthy. Some of those decisions this week for sure, for sure. But like I said, Dallas, they got it done. They now move to, I believe, what is it,
9-3.
9-3? Yep, right behind Philly, who's at 10-2. They're gonna play each other this Sunday night. Now, for those of you who don't know how the football seeding works in the NFL, know if the Cowboys win this game, they do not automatically get first place in the NFC East. Dallas has lost all their games in the NFC conference, and Philly has a loss to the Jets. So Philly has a better NFC conference. So when it comes down to it, as long as they still have the same divisional record, NFC conference record is what comes next. So Philly will still be technically a half game in front of Dallas. But if they are able to drop one and another one and Dallas wins out, yes, Dallas gets first place. They don't have the tiebreaker versus San Francisco. They'll have an opportunity to play Detroit later this month, which will help for a tiebreaker probably coming down for that one because those teams probably will continue to win. And as long as they can get, if they can get first place in the NFC East and that results in second, or third in the conference for the playoffs, that's great. Because as long as San Francisco gets number one, then they're gonna play Philly in the divisional, and then you'll only have to meet San Francisco in the conference championship game. So
Conference
at the
champion.
very least, y'all can say for the first time, in 20 plus years, y'all made it to the conference championship game. But there's still a lot of football left to be played, a lot to be figured out. Still want to see, the Cowboys prove it versus some other better teams, but they're gonna get all the opportunities this next month. So that was a Thursday night game. Like I said, Cam Texans, I'll leave it to you. Came down to a nail biter. Wasn't the best offensive execution this weekend, but CJ found a way to do enough, and then that defense, Stingley was balling, the goal line stopped. Man, talk about your boys, because now it helped Jacksonville lost. It didn't help that Indy found a way to win in overtime, but y'all right there in the hunt. So it really might come down to y'all in the Colts now for first place with depending on Trevor Lawrence's injury, which they're calling a high ankle sprain. So
It's really that's really crazy. It's coming down to us in the coast when last year it came down to us pretty much not getting the first pick or whatever that game. So it's just crazy how a year change. How I don't know. It's just crazy. But nah, man, this game was very very exciting. It started off pretty well for us. We was getting after us left and right in the first half. Will Anderson was going bizarre. Like I know like beginning of the game he had like a kind of like a block punt, but it was still like it still went down the field whatever, but he kind of like tipped it whatever and got good field position off of that. But, he also had 2 sacks in the game, so he showed out. And then my boy Derek Stingley picked off Russ 2 times. I think that was the first. Yeah, he has 4 picks now, but I think that's the first time in Texans history, and I think first time in NFL someone has had like 4 interceptions in their first whatever so games, whatever that stat that they be showing. So yeah, defense played well, man. Then obviously Jimmy Ward picked off Russ at the end of the game, but yeah, defense played well. We lost Tank Dell. Was that was our first touchdown, which
Still don't make
sucked.
no sense
Yeah, it
why that
makes
was the play call for him to be him blocking.
literally makes no sense at all. We're at the 1 yard line, and we hand the ball off to what's the name to Damian Pierce to go get a touchdown, and tank in blocking or whatever, and he's trying to push Damian Pierce in, and mind you, I like these O line and D line guys are like men, like they are like men, grown men, like
300
300,
plus.
300 plus pound men. And so I don't know. It was just it goes to show you that we like that we really like have a rookie offensive coordinator. Like I feel like a veteran offense coordinator wouldn't have Tank in at during that time, whatever. But our rookie offense coordinator, he's still learning. He's still learning on the fly, whatever. This is first time doing it. So he made a mistake. He made a mistake, even though he shouldn't have been in there. But yeah, Tank Dell out for the season. What broken fibula, whatever. Um, first glance, it looked like I thought he probably like torn something, like torn his ACL or something like that because he was down for a minute. But it was a broken fibula. I'm kind of like no, I'm obviously sad he got hurt, but I'm like kind of like on the happy side that it was like a bone instead of like actual like tear like off a muscle or whatever. So that's a W on that. But yeah, man, offense just I mean, we had 2 touchdowns, but other than that, I mean, it's to beat like these good teams, man. You can't just keep on getting field goals and thinking that your defense is gonna,
Hold up.
hold up the whole time. Like we have to execute on offensive side. Got to get touchdowns when you're in the red zone. I mean, that's like the biggest killer. I feel like because I mean, look at we'll talk about, but look at Philadelphia that first quarter, whatever, they was driving the field, had the crowd all hype and stuff. And I think both times they was in the red zone, 2 field goals, and then 49ers just run on the run. I mean, you gotta score, man. You have to score when you definitely get a chance. So that's what's something I didn't really like or whatever. But other than that, man, we play well. Play well.
Sure. I mean, that segues into the next topic perfectly. You got to score when you get in the red zone. It's been my Chiefs' problem all year, and that problem continued to rear its head this past Sunday night when we went into Lambeau. Our first 2 drives were great, long drives. It didn't help that I mean, I'm not finna sit up here and fault our defense, but our defense played their worst game of the season this past week. Again, for the second week in a row, they opened up, allowing a touchdown score on the first drive. But it's not even that they're allowing the touchdown drive. It was a 8-minute drive that resulted in a touchdown. So literally, I think there were 5 total possessions in the first half, which was the lowest of all season across the whole NFL. We touched the ball twice in those 2 possessions, and we got 2 field goals, whereas the Packers touched the ball 3 times and they got scores every time. So it was like now we already playing behind the 8 ball, and I mean it's just time to be honest with ourselves, Chiefs Kingdom. I'm gonna start from the top down. Brett Veach, he fooled us, led us amok. We got bamboozled. We were led astray. Like coming into the season, oh man, this might be the deepest wide receiver room we've ever had with Patrick Mahomes. We got talent everywhere. Like, oh, Sky Moore, Justin Ross, Tony's gonna be wide receiver 1. MVS coming back. Like, we're gonna be solid. Rasheed Rice, the rookie, if he plays. Justin Watson, he can run the deep routes sometimes. No, once again, Veach, he sold us on the offensive side of the ball. There's been a few questionable draft picks we've had over the years. We drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire over T. Higgins, Michael Pittman. The year or two before that, no, yeah, the year before that, we drafted McCole Hardman before DK Metcalf. Like,
Oh,
we've had a bunch of like, what the hell? Like, if you go look at the draft board for who we selected versus who was selected after, and because of that, it's showing right now. People keep saying, "Oh, they wish they had Tyreek back." Like, no, we don't wish we had Tyreek back. Like, without getting rid of Tyreek, we don't have the defense we have right now for one. And we won the Super Bowl last year. At the end of the day, like we always say, nothing matters no matter what anybody tries to tell you. Everybody's goal is to win the Super Bowl.
yeah,
Coming
yeah.
into the season, it's probably only like 6, 7 teams that realistically can reach that goal. But everybody's goal is winning the Super Bowl at the end of the day. We did that. So that's not a loss. The loss is this offseason, we had ample opportunities to get a certified wide receiver one. But Beach didn't want to come up off a little bit of cash to solidify, even if we have him for a 1-year rental. Look how good our defense is. Imagine if we had someone like DeAndre Hopkins, who we could have signed, who wanted to come play for us, but Beach wouldn't come up off those pocketbooks. OBJ is a little bit different situation because he hasn't necessarily panned out in Baltimore, so I'm not going to say him. When they get to the trade deadline, Bucks were trying to shop Mike Evans. I don't know if any real offers were ever made or who made any offers, but if we didn't at least give them a call for Mike Evans, that's stupid. Um, right now, Zach Ertz is a free agent, and I know that's another tight end, but honestly, we need to pick him up so we can just run 13 personnel. Put him, Kelsey, Noah Gray, who has the second highest catch percentage on the team since we got so many drop problems, and Rashee Rice as the one wide receiver out wide. Pound the ball with Pacheco, run play action. You got Kelsey, you got Ertz, you got Gray, big bodies. Rashee Rice, quick wide receiver on the outside. I know I'm not a football coach, but at this point, god damn it, why don't we give it a try? Because none of this other bullshit Andy Reid is doing is working. So that's number 2 at fault. Andy Reid, Hall of Fame coach. Love the guy. He's obviously, brought the best Chiefs era possible. Even before we had Mahomes, he brought us to winning football, which we hadn't seen in years. But this is his worst season by far. I don't know what the hell is wrong with the play calling. Rashee Rice will have a catch, then it's like automatically off rip. He has to go to the sidelines for the next 2 plays. It's never like, oh, we throw it to Rashee Rice. Let's keep him in the game and maybe throw it to him again. Isaiah Pacheco, 7th round, still one of the most underrated running backs in the league. We literally have a workhorse running back for the first time since Kareem Hunt, and before that, Jamal Charles. And for whatever reason, he was averaging 6.1 yards per carry this past weekend. In the fourth quarter, he touched the ball 1 time, and we had the ball 3 times to go take the lead. Now, the last drive was the last drive of the game where we had a minute left, so we can't run the ball there. And Isaiah had gotten kicked out from that punch he threw at the dead ball after Rice's supposed fumble that got overturned. But before then, 1st and 10 at midfield, hand the ball to Isaiah. Just do it. We literally might have the best interior offensive line in the whole NFL with Creed Humphrey, Tooney, and Trey Smith. When we run it but behind them 3, it's yards every time. Like, even if it's 4 yards, we get 4 yards each time, you can literally run down the field. We're smashing them through the pocket right there, and then we just go away from it. We get to midfield on that second to last drive. I was like, okay, Pacheco back in. Let's run the football. Let's keep chewing clock. Let's get down there. No, we run a rub fade route for 5'10" Sky Moore, who hasn't been on connection with Patrick Mahomes all season. So, yeah, I'll give 50% of the blame to Reed because that's a stupid-ass play call for one. I'm going to give 30 to Mahomes because he shouldn't have thrown the shit in the first place. And I'll give 20 to Moore because he just stopped running for whatever reason. But like I said, he just looks lost out there. Like, I'm not an NFL player by any means, but I bet I could go out there and look like I know what I'm doing more than what Sky Moore has done this year. It's absolutely horrible. MVS, oh my God. I don't know what the hell is wrong with him, and I wish I had the all 22 footage. We're recording this Tuesday night, so I might try to get something together to just might make a montage of clips if I can find all of the plays. But I'll show one of them from this past week, and that's a highlight. I swear to God, Cam, I swear to God, every deep ball we have thrown to MVS this year, besides the one he dropped versus Philly, For whatever reason, he stops running and doesn't stack the cornerback. For y'all who doesn't know what that means, if you beat the cornerback inside, you're supposed to stack and get back on top of him and push the outside boundary. Stay away from the safety covering over the top. Every time he runs back inside, and then by the time Patrick Mahomes throws the ball, he like does his half turnaround and throws his arms up, and the ball just goes over his head instead of just keeping running. Where Patrick Mahomes is leading the ball. I don't know what the official percentage is, but I tweeted it off the podcast page after that play. They have to have the worst deep ball connection by percentage in the league this year. It's got to be a minimum number of like 10 attempts or whatever, because I'm sure we've done it 10 times. They have connected 0 times this year. Literally 0 fucking times this year. It's mind raging to watch that shit in real time. Because why do we keep calling this shit? Like I said, Rashee Rice has been doing his thing. Put him in the game. Justin Watson, I know he's not that great, but if he's a speed guy too, and MVS obviously can't run the routes, right? Put him in at that spot. Take Sky Moore out, put Kadarius Toney in. I don't know why. Toney played like 12 snaps this past weekend, and the one time he did touch the ball because he got 0 targets was a damn run play. So if he's injured, why are we running him up the gut? Like, that makes 0 sense. So that's another Andy Reid fault. Move to the offensive coordinator. I know people are like, well, Reid calls the plays. It wasn't Bieniemy. Well, damn it, Bieniemy knew how to hold those players accountable, and they obviously listened to him. Because Nagy, from what I've seen from him, he more seems like a butt buddy. Like, he's just cool with everybody. He don't get on nobody's ass. He don't hold them accountable. Because we're the number 1 penalized team, and we have stupid-ass penalties that blow up drives every damn week. And Nagy is never over there on the sidelines getting into them. And when he does have them huddled up, nobody's got fire lit up under him from him talking. He's not inspirational at all. So he can kick rocks after this year for all I care. He's not a good OC. Like, I want people to stop trying to sugarcoat. Well, Reid calls the plays. No, Matt Nagy is not a good offensive coordinator. He wasn't a good head coach. The only reason he got the job is because he was familiar with the system when Bieniemy left, because he was the OC before when we had Alex Smith. And while granted we were a good football team, you saw what we were doing. We could never produce when it came down to it. So, I don't know. I'll call a spade a spade. Matt Nagy can't fucking coach. Let's be honest with ourselves, Chiefs Kingdom. Like, come on now. Next down the line, Patrick Mahomes. I love him. The fucking GOAT, greatest quarterback. But this year, he's been ass. Like I said, that one to Sky Moore, eat that shit. Like, don't throw that. Like, even if they call the play, he's so goated now, he should be able to be in the huddle. You know what? Fuck that. Let's run something else. Isaiah, you running hard. I'm going to just hand it to you. You go do your thing, because I don't trust these motherfuckers outside because they can't catch the damn ball. Mahomes, you can do that.
He can.
No one would blink an eye. Like, you are the guy. You have full carte blanche to do that. But he never does that. Then for whatever reason, this is all of them again in combination. Reid, Nagy, Mahomes. We get to the goal line. Why are we subbing in Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Why? Why are we subbing in that little chunky fat ass bitch? He can't run up the gut short. He can't do it. I'm tired of them doing that shit. Why? It fails every fucking time, bro. Why are we doing that? And then they run him up the gut. He gets stuffed. Then it's 3rd and goal or 2nd and goal. And then they keep him in and they try to run the little shovel pass. And he's covered, and Mahomes throws it to him, and it almost gets hit up in the air for interception. But if you just looked over to the right, Rashee Rice was wide open in the flat. And I know that's not the play call, but Mahomes is a smart enough player, and he saw that. Just throw it there. Why are we trying to give it to Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the 1 when we have Isaiah Pacheco? Literally every time we get down in the end zone, I don't care if they have 8 in the box. Just hand the ball to Pacheco, because something might happen because he runs so goddamn angry. Like, he literally might break that bitch into the end zone. If we inside the 10-yard line, the first or both first 2 plays need to be a run to him. And then we can do all the trick bullshit or try to throw the ball. But Isaiah Pacheco needs the ball in his hands, man. And then lastly, like I said, I'm not going to put too much on the defense because they're the only reason we are 8-4 this year, because they've been balling crazy. But this week, my God, for one, we got hit by an injury bug from the very start of the game. Drew Tranquil gets a knee to the head and damn near died on the field, was knocked out. So he's done for concussion from the start. We already know that. Then Justin Reid got hurt for a little bit. He ended up still playing. Our other starter safety, Brian Cook, it looked like he broke his ankle. but they said X-rays were negative, so that might be the worst sprain or dislocation I've
That's
ever seen.
crazy.
But his foot was sideways and his kneecap was straight, so he got carted off. But they were making Jordan Love look like goddamn Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers in this bitch. On the 4th and 1 play, fans were like, yes, the refs are god awful on both sides, but they missed the hands to the face on Mike Dan on that. But they let Jordan Love drop back 8 yards on 4th and 1 and loft the ball into the air in between 4 defenders, and all of them just looked at that ball drop into Romeo Dobbs' hand. Justin Reed was running across. If he would have just looked up, he honestly could have dove and batted the ball or possibly intercepted it. Mike Edwards was in the very back. He was just watching it like it was going to drop down to him, and it dropped 5 yards shorter. And then Snead was trailing, and he couldn't even get to it. And they completed that. And it's like, that's when I knew, like, we're gonna lose this game because that's a play that shouldn't even happen. But they literally just let that shit be a complete pass when all it took was somebody locating the football and knocking it down. That was it. And we would have got the ball, and they don't score there. So it was just bad all the way around. I just need Chiefs Kingdom to be honest with ourselves. Like, every week, they're like, well, the offense, we got time. We can get it together. And I was saying that the past couple weeks too, but no, fuck that. It's December, guys. We are in week 14. This shit is not going to change. MVS is not magically going to find his connection again with Mahomes. Sky Moore is not magically going to become good and learn how to run actual routes in the NFL. Tony, I don't know where he be at. Andy Reid, he's been like this his whole career. He refuses to run the ball consistently, even though really this year we are a running football team. We can't throw
They
the ball
really
for
are.
shit. We should be a running football team, and we should run play action off of that to open up easier passing lanes since none of the receivers can get open anyways. But no, we're not doing that. We keep doing the same shit week in, week out. And then we get to the post-game press conference, Mahomes, oh, that's on me. Travis, oh, that's on me. We got to be better. Well, God damn it, be better. Like, shit, you keep saying it, no one's actually doing it. Matt Nagy, we got to be better playing, calling the plays. We got to be better executing. Well, get on the players. What are we doing in practice all week? Because we come out and we look like we didn't practice all week because we're not executing for shit. So what's really going on that side of the ball? But it's not going to change. The only saving grace is that the AFC is so banged up right now. The only realistic team standing in the way is the Ravens, who have Lamar Jackson, who hasn't had any playoff success, the Dolphins, who can't beat a good team yet, and that's it. Literally, that's the two biggest obstacles. Everybody else is dropping like flies, and then if your Texans make it in, it's going to be a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach. So the stats say that shouldn't be an obstacle. But other than that, that's the only way the only way possible. We're looking at like, oh, we can still make the Super Bowl. But the offense is not going to get better. We need to change the way we play. Like, straight up. I don't know why we haven't done that. Run the ball with Pacheco, feed him. He's a workhorse. When we do have a second running back come in, don't bring in Clyde. Bring in LaMichael Pirine or McKinnon. McKinnon's been out with injury, so Pirine got moved up. I don't know why we weren't running him because he's another big body back. But no, we're going to keep putting Clyde's little chunky ass in there and watching him get stuffed at the line for -2 yards. And then Sky Moore, MVS, take him off the field completely. Like, they're out like Terry McLaurin said in Washington this week. I was just out there doing cardio. That's all they're ever doing all year. Just cardio. Just fucking cardio. MVS has 17 catches on the year for like 200 yards and 1 touchdown. He's getting paid $11 million. Sky Moore was our second round draft pick last year, and he was supposed to step up and be one of the Juju role players this year. He's garbage. Not even mentioned 3 years ago, we picked another guy in the second round, Cornell Powell from Clemson. He's been on our practice squad every single year since. So that's just another whiff at wide receiver on Beach's resume. He hasn't got it done, plain and simple. And from top to bottom, that shit just looks horrible, and it's not getting better unless we literally change the way we play, change the identity of the team. But we have the team to do it. It's just, will Andy Reid get out of his own way and actually do it and run the ball instead of doing what he wants to do, and that's throw it. We can't throw the ball this year. We can't. Patrick Mahomes can't trust him, and when he does throw it to him, they're either going to drop it or they're going to run the wrong route. And Travis Kelce, I love him to death, but damn it, every time he catches the ball and runs, it looks like his body just hurts. He's so damn old. Like, Father Time is undefeated. The man is 34. He came into the season with a knee injury, and I'm pretty sure after the season he's going to have some type of surgery. but he's not the Travis Kelce we know. Like, yes, he's still Travis Kelce, so he can still make some plays. But if you just watch him move, literally, it looks like every
He's hurting.
step,
You
it's
could
like,
tell. Yeah, you could tell.
gets it, dang, I gotta get up, but like I really can't get up. Like it's just bad right now. So if we're gonna actually make a run, Isaiah Pacheco needs to be MVP of this team. But will we actually do it? It's I doubt it because we're just stupid at this point. Like I said, it's December 5th right now. We're recording this, going into week 14 of the NFL, and we're still doing the same shit over and over, expecting a different result. And that's the literal definition of insanity. So that's my piece on that, Chiefs Kingdom. It's time to wake the fuck up. Stop being dummies. Like just face the facts. This offense is ass. We if we don't win it, we did just waste a year of having a top 5 defense and not supplying Mahomes with just one good receiver. That's all we needed. Just one good one to draw some attention away from Travis, open up more lanes for Rashid Pacheco. But here we are with MVS, Sky Moore, and Justin Watson leading the way for our target shares 14 weeks into the season, and none of them should even be on the field probably. So that's how it goes. We're 8-4. We lost the first seed. There's still an opportunity for us to get it back because the Ravens got a tough schedule and the Dolphins do as well. And then luckily Jacksonville lost and we have the tiebreaker over them. But at this point, who knows? We got the Bills this weekend. I know the Bills off a bye.
Oh my God.
The Bills are gonna come out playing like it's their Super Bowl because
Oh
their
no, this
season
is a Super Bowl.
this is literally on the line. This first place on the line for us, and their season is literally on the line. So you already know Josh Allen's probably going to go for like 304 touchdowns. And can our offense
off a
keep up with
bye?
that? Who knows at this point? Who knows? So
Off a bye week too, you know they're gonna be gonna be geeked up. They will be
like
geeked up.
he gonna be looking like they're gonna be saying after the this is why we say Josh Allen is arguably the best quarterback in the league. And
You
then
know
the
they
week
gonna say
after that, he'll probably have a 3 interception game or something. But versus us, you know he's about to go crazy. It just always happens that way. So yeah. Next up, and I'll swing it back to Kev. I like catch my breath looking at it, but we told y'all on the pod last week. Cam Swan, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to, dog in your team. Obviously, y'all beat us, so you got bragging rights this year on me anyway. But we told y'all last week, man, the Eagles haven't looked good. They've been scraping by the last 4 to 5 weeks. And that 49ers team is fully healthy. And they don't just beat teams. They whoop their
they beat
ass.
the shot of them.
They played 3 of the top 5, 7 teams by record. I don't know what Jacksonville necessarily is in the standings now with their loss. But they played them, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. And they've outscored them by like 80 points in combination. They beat the Cowboys 42-10. They just beat the Eagles 42-19. I think they beat the Jaguars like 37-3. Like they're literally beating the shit out of all the good teams. And we told y'all it was going to happen. Take 49ers spread, take the alt spread by a touchdown. You could have taken it by 2 touchdowns. You could have taken it by 3 goddamn touchdowns. Like they whooped their ass. Like in Philly. Had Sirianni crying and everything. Like it was bad. It was bad. So go ahead and touch on that game and talk a little bit about Brock Purdy, who is also, how I mentioned, was either 1 or 2, depending on the book, but also back in the MVP race. Even though I don't agree with that. But go ahead. Take it from there.
Man, no, like you said, we called it, man. This Eagles team, like I said, they haven't been looking. I mean, I've been saying they find ways to win, but if you like really watch them, they haven't really been, good or great or whatever. Even though their record is 10-2, obviously, and that's great. But still, like if you watch them play, like they don't really look, like a 10-2 team. Jalen, pretty much the whole year or these past couple of games, the first half, for some odd reason, he does not play good whatsoever. He really, third quarter, he don't play good, and then the fourth quarter comes around, it's a close game, and he'll just take over, or whatever. But against the 49ers, against a 49ers team that's probably the best team in the league right now, you just can't do that. It's as simple as that. You can't do that at all. Jalen obviously looking pretty beat up right now. He's looking like he's dealing with some type of injury. I know I know this game he went out with the injury, but he came back.
He got a. They should have sat him out. He got hit in the head, so he had to go for a concussion protocol. And at that point, they was already down.
Yeah,
I think they were down like 42-12 at that point or whatever. But it's like there's no point for him to come back. But he came back and threw a touchdown, and it's like never give up.
Mister Perfect looking at. Always gotta be perfect, Jalen Hurts.
Fight till the clock says 0 because we always got a chance.
But nah, man. 49ers, man. Okay, the Eagles probably have a top 5 duo in like left tackle and right tackle in Lane Johnson and what's his name, Jordan, always Mulatto, whatever. They just made them look like probably the two worst, like the two worst left tackle, right tackle. Ever since getting Chase Young, man, that just opened up so much for like guys like Bosa and the other guys they have on the line or whatever, and even linebackers that come in and blitz or whatever. But yeah, adding him, he just makes you could just tell like it kind of like he gets so much pressure that you can't even put attention to him because you still got Bosa on the other side, and you still got the D tackle or whatever. Then you still got the linebackers coming right at you. So that defense is insane. It's not even like the secondary is any good or whatever. I mean, the secondary is good, but it's not like insanely great. It's just that front seven. It's like you can't do nothing. Like
they don't even have to blitz. They can just rush the 4 defensive linemen, drop 7 back into coverage, and then you only really got 3 seconds, if that, before Bosa or Young is getting to you, or I think it's Arik Armstead or something like that in the interior. So yeah, the defense is tough for sure. And do you know what the crazy thing is?
What?
I can't think of bro's name right now, but their defensive coordinator was the interim coach last year for Carolina that almost got them into the playoffs.
Oh, he was a black dude, huh?
Yeah, and then Tepper, who's now fired 4 coaches between his 2 franchises, could have rehired him. The team liked him. Obviously, we're playing well for him. No, let's get rid of him. Let's go get Frank Reich, and Frank Reich is fired. He fired 2 weeks ago.
Man, so, not even like he could even get a full season in. Right? He got fired.
And it's like some of these owners, like I don't know, like if they just can't get over their own ego, because the Raiders did a couple years ago when Rich Bisaccia took over, and like the players love playing for him, and then they're like, you know what, we're not gonna sign him as a coach because he's not. They always do it to us, like, oh, he has no real coaching experience. Let's hire McDaniels, who's been horrible as a head coach literally his whole career. Every time he's got an opportunity, and what do you know, he's horrible again, and he's gone. When you could have just stuck with the ones that the players vied with and were actually playing for and built from there. But these owners just be doing their own thing. So, hey, but he got the 49er defense right back to the top.
They looking good. Then you got, on the offensive side, you also got CMC. He going to do his thing or whatever. But then, Debo, he said it. Hey, he said it. He said last year in the playoffs, it would be different if we had a quarterback. And then, they got it. They got their quarterback, whatever. Debo came in with the black Air Force One, so he was standing no business. He needed his that get back or that lick back or whatever. But with Brock Purdy, man, with 314, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I know Shanahan is a genius on the offensive side, but goddamn, you got to give some credit to Brock. Because at the end of the day, he still got to make the plays. He still got to make the right reads or whatever. Obviously, it helps when you have goddamn 5 Pro Bowlers on,
Yeah,
on
Debo
offense.
Taking every pass to the house, putting his head on the goalpost.
Taking every pass.
2-yard screen, 5-yard crosser, don't matter. It's a touchdown for Debo.
Nah, Debo insane. Then you also got Brandon Ayuk. With Brandon Ayuk, I'm pretty sure if he could go anywhere, almost any team, he'll probably be receiving one by himself.
I really think, like, I be saying every free agent wide receiver is a chief, but realistically, if we were to sign one, I really think it would be someone like him
That's a
because
good signing,
while he's
man.
wide receiver one, I don't think he'll command the money that someone like a T Higgins is going to want. Where T Higgins will be like, man, you need to pay me like a top 3 receiver,
Yeah.
and someone probably will do it. But Ayuk, that's the one player. It's like, okay, 49ers, they can't just keep signing everybody. They have to
Yeah.
lose somebody, and he's probably the one they're going to lose because everybody else is signed, and then they'll just go from there. But yeah, praying we get Ayuk or someone because if we had Brandon Ayuk this year,
Oh my
we,
God.
we might be undefeated.
Man, and like he fits your offense too. Like if you want to run a jet sweep to him, you can do it
Right?
because he can do it. You want to put that running back? He can play running back. But he honestly I feel like he's pretty much he's the same exact player as Debo. They just don't use him as Debo because they also playing Debo all this money or whatever. But the same exact stuff Debo can do, Brandon Ayuk can do. Brandon Ayuk is phenomenal yards after catch, just like Debo is. So they don't use him as much, but if y'all do get him, that'd be a great signing. But man, that 49ers team is scary, man. That 49ers is very scary. If they don't get to the Super Bowl and win it this year, I don't really know. I don't know.
We gotta start calling Shanahan a failure because
You
like
have to. You
he
have
got
to.
everything as long as they stay relatively healthy because that's the one knock, and that's like I'm not saying Brock Purdy is good. Brock Purdy is a very good QB. Like all Kyle Shanahan needed was a good QB who could take care of the ball and just make the throws when he needed him to. And Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
Garoppolo can only do that half the time. But Jimmy Garoppolo he's a career backup.
Yeah.
Like we seen him leave to Las Vegas and he got benched. And they're paying him like 40 mil this year and he's on the bench. But we saw him with them and they were winning. Now that he's got Brock Purdy, who's Mr. Irrelevant, so they're paying him pennies, especially over there with San Francisco and the Bay's taxes in
Oh
Cali.
man,
So they can,
he
fill
playing
out
for
the
free.
roster everywhere. And like I said, he got all stars everywhere on offense. So it's just like, just get them the ball, let them do what they do. And he's doing that to the best ability we've ever seen in the Shanahan offense. So like they stay healthy. They probably should not lose a game for the rest of the season.
They should not. They better not
Besides
lose
it,
a game.
besides if they rest someone on like the last week, if they do have a first seed like all the way sewn up. But in the NFC, they probably won't have that. So because technically Philly is still first seed right now because they only have 2 losses. So they're actually Dallas's biggest fans this week because they need Dallas knocked out because that will put them back in the first. But yeah, it looks pretty undisputed. That team is so talented. Like you said, the only real like I guess problem they have on their team, their secondary isn't that great.
It's
But
not.
when you got the front 7, like you said, secondary doesn't have to be that great because they're usually getting pressure. So it's gonna be interesting to see playoffs, because they're more than likely gonna see Philly or Dallas again. And as bad as or as much as Philly and Dallas fans don't want to hear it, I don't see the results of the 2 games they played versus the 49ers ending up any different in the playoffs,
Yeah, I don't
especially
see
if it's in San Francisco. Like they will probably smack them even worse.
it.
I've never seen that to a Philly team, and like Cam Swan, I'm not bagging on you, so don't watch this and start seeing red and start rifling off text whenever this gets uploaded.
The
But
rage.
but it couldn't have happened to a more deserving opponent than Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. They've been doing the most really since he got hired last year, but this year especially in all his sideline antics. And like you said, Debo said from last year, he went on all the sports shows Super Bowl week like we should be here. We would have whooped them if we just had a quarterback. He came in this year saying the same exact thing, like we will whoop them if we have a quarterback. We have a quarterback. Just watch. Came in their stadium in the black Air Force Ones on straight Debo energy for real. He went up in their house, made himself a sandwich, kicked his feet up on the dining room table, told them grab the remote, turn on to whatever channel you want, and he had a time
Bullied
like
them, man. He bullied
bullied
them.
them, whooped their ass in Philly. It wasn't even a question. Like you said, Philly started off the game good, but then they ended in field goals. And then once San Francisco scored a touchdown, they didn't stop scoring. They scored a touchdown on 6 straight possessions, which is unheard of in the NFL. The only type of other team I could think of off the top of my head that done that recently is the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So they literally belt to ass from the end of the first quarter on after Philly scored them 6, belt to ass the rest of the way. And like I said, as long as they stay healthy, yeah, the 49ers are the best team in the league as of right now until someone else can prove otherwise. And looking at the rest of their schedule, I know they got Seattle again this week at home.
They gonna beat the shit out of Seattle.
They gonna beat shit out of them.
They gonna beat the shit out of Seattle.
They got the Cardinals next.
Oh
They
my
might,
god.
They might kill Kyler Murray. The hardest game they got left is the Ravens, but that's at home.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good game.
That's going to be a tough matchup because they're both going to have first seed on the line in their AFC and NFC, and whoever drops that might fall out of first place. So that's toughest one. After that, Commanders and the Rams. They literally
They're probably gonna smack you
for the rest of the time for the NFL season, y'all. If you listen to this and you are a bettor, you need to be betting the 49ers spread, and then you need to be sprinkling on the alternate spread that takes it up even a notch for plus odds, because they're more than likely going to blow out every team besides maybe the Ravens by 14 to 20 points, if not even more than that. Like, none of these teams can compete with them, and most of these teams will all these teams, their season is over essentially. The Seahawks are still mathematically alive at 66, but their season is over with. We know that. They have nothing left to fight for. The Commanders, I don't know why they're waiting to the end of the season to fire Ron Rivera. It's obvious nobody wants to go out there and play for him at this point in time, so they might as well just give him the axe and let Bieniemy be interim head coach. Let's see how it goes just do that shit. Like, I just thought of that and said it. And as it came out, like, why not just do that shit just to see, like, okay, can we realistically move forward with him as a head coach? Come on, just do it. New ownership, y'all have to literally rebuild anyway. Just start it.
Mm-hmm.
Fire Rivera, Bieniemy at interim head coach. Make that his interview for the rest of the season, and don't make it the interview where it's like, oh, they got to win now. No, let's see if they can be competitive, because right now they're getting their teeth fucking kicked in every game from the very start. I don't know why, because Ron Rivera is the defensive head coach. Why were they single covering Tyreek this week?
I don't get it. And what Rick said? Rick was like,
I don't even want to dog players, but like, okay, thanks for disrespecting me, because that's disrespectful. Like, why would you guard me with one person? Like, we were talking about the MVP race earlier this week in the group chat, I forgot to even mention, like, he opened up the game with 3 catches, 132 yards, in those 2 touchdowns. Then they only threw the ball to him 2 times for the rest of the game, and then he sat the whole fourth quarter. So, like, he could have went for probably 304 touchdowns if they felt like it. But I know he's been a little banged up the last couple weeks, and they just wanted to give him rest, and they got Achane and everybody else involved and let them get touched. But he could have easily – he probably could have had – I don't think it's ever been done. He probably could have had the first 400-yard receiver game if he felt like it, because they were playing single coverage. All he had to do was run past them. Yeah, on the second touchdown, he ran the wrong route, and Tua just threw the ball up, and he said he was so far ahead of everybody else, he could still adjust and then just go get it and jog into the end zone. Come on, man.
Yeah, I didn't get the game plan from Ron Rivera that game. Like, single coverage, Tyreek Hill, he's the fastest man we've ever seen in the NFL. Why would you do that? That ain't make sense. Why would you do that? He gonna beat every corner you have. He's gonna beat any safety.
At that point, he might as well just walk out with a sign that says "Fire me, please." Like, hey, come on now. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. But last game worth really missing from this week slate of games. Yesterday, Monday night, Bengals get a dub in overtime, and what do you know? Bengals and Bills at 6-6, and the 3 teams ahead of them all have backup quarterbacks playing for the rest of the year. So my prediction might not end up coming true, because they might find a way to squeak in there. Like I said, the Bills season literally rides on this week. If we can beat them, we will not fully, mathematically speaking, eliminate them, but we essentially eliminate them from playoff contention for real, for real. And the Bengals, if they drop another game, especially if it's in their division, they would be eliminated. But Jake Browning came out and balled 34 points on that Jacksonville defense. And then at the end of the game, if you didn't see it, Trevor Lawrence dropped back to pass and he got stepped on by his own lineman. They said it's a high ankle sprain. Uh, no X-rays were negative. They haven't given him a time frame, but I mean, dude couldn't even walk. But they made him walk to the locker room, which is,
Locker room.
you know,
They
why do you
making
not get
jokes. So
why you not get your franchise quarterback a cart to take him back there? But yeah, Bengals got the dub, so that opens up the AFC South doors completely. And hey, they're right there, 6-6. And we were talking about, last week we did the AFC breakdown of the playoffs and how we thought everything was going to play out. And as it sits, Miami's now first, Baltimore second. They'll play each other at the end of the year. My Chiefs are third, Jacksonville fourth, Pitt, Cleveland, and Indy, all with backup quarterbacks. And Pitt, in Cleveland's case right now, they're on to their third string. And really, in Cleveland's case, they just had to pick up Joe Flacco off the couch. And
crazy.
they got whooped by the Rams this past week. So definitely very much in the wild card spots are very much in play for everybody. Your Texans sit in eighth right behind, but of course you are going to get the Colts again. Y'all basically control y'all's own destiny. Denver, who needed this win bad coming into the game on a 5-game win streak, y'all dubbed them, so they fell back to ninth at 6-6. And Buffalo, Cincy right behind them, 6-6. And the Chargers, I'm not even going to talk about them, but they got a win versus the Patriots 6-0. And I get it. They had some terrible drops again and everything, but like, I don't know how Justin Herbert could just get every excuse and skate past the criticisms every week. Like 6 points, and you supposed to be this elite. You gotta score on the worst team in the league right now. Like the Patriots are the worst team in the league right now. I don't care. Like they have now, for the first time, I think, in history, they've held the opposing team to under 10 points 3 weeks in a row. They've lost all 3 of those games. How does that happen?
It's not even possible, bro.
It shouldn't be possible. And the crazy thing is, like, I get the thinking of it, but I don't know if you've heard the rumors. They're saying basically at the end of the year, they're going to fire Staley and they're going to try to hire Bill Belichick. And it's like,
No.
I get what you're trying to do, but that might be even worse for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, it's going to be worse.
Like, we've seen what Belichick is without Tom Brady.
There's
And
no
even
way
though
they
they put Justin Herbert in the if win or if this Olympics and make him out to be Tom Brady, he's not Tom Brady.
No.
You get him Bill Belichick, you might see this season again. So it probably shouldn't do that, but
I wouldn't. That's horrible. Don't get Bill, man. Let Bill retire, man. Bill, go retire. Go with your wife, man. Go with your grandkids or whatever, man. Go,
you
man.
don't got it no more,
You
Bill.
don't got it no more, Bill. Oh, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It is. But yeah, man, that's the week 13 wrap up. We don't have any picks yet for week 14, but we will tweet those out. So follow the socials, follow us on X or Twitter, INISPOD. We're gonna tweet the plays out there. Early thoughts on any of the games this week. I've only really had one. I don't know what their over would be set at, but like I said, that Philly team isn't playing good right now. Dallas is on fire at home. Usually, how these games go, they always split. I would bet Dallas's team over. I would assume it probably be at like 28 or 29 and a half. Dallas will for sure put up 30 on this Philly defense as it stands right now. Now, will their defense be able to hold up on the other end versus Jalen? I don't know. But they're at home. I think they can win. But regardless, I think their offense is going to put up points in a win or a loss. So that's probably one of the bets I will lock in. But other than that, haven't even looked at the games. Like I said, this is Tuesday night when we're recording this. This will go out Thursday morning. But before we sign off, if you watched all the way through, man, listen, because I hinted at it last week. We got a nice little surprise for y'all again. We having our second live podcast episode Thursday night. It's probably going to start 8 o'clock. That's when the second in-season tournament semifinal happens for the NBA. We don't know who's going to be playing in that game just yet. We still got to finish out the quarterfinals round tonight. I got it over on the TV right now. I think the Bucks are up headed into the fourth last time I looked, but I don't know the official score. Yeah, they're up 112, 103 right now. But we're going to be filming live, and we're going to have a slew of guests. We're going to be bringing them in one by one or maybe in pairs or so. But we're, as of right now, from what I gathered from, the group chats I lobbed the idea to in, I think we have about 6 or 7 people willing to guest star. Gonna see if Eric, the guy from EFT Sports podcast, the one I've been on a couple times now, I'm gonna see if he can stop by as well. So it's gonna be a great podcast, great time. Like I said, gonna be live, comments gonna be uh pumping everything. The goal is, as of right now, I'm gonna throw everybody who wants to do it in a group chat tomorrow. We already got a slate of questions we want to ask the viewers, and then also I'm gonna get everybody's opinion. I want us all to build one prize picks parlay for that one game, so we can all react and be rooting for the same shit as the game goes on, and we're not against each other or anything. So, like I said, man, it's gonna be a really good episode. Like I said, we're gonna bring y'all more live episodes. Know that now that we know how to do it and can do it. So y'all definitely stay tuned for that. Like I said, Thursday morning, this NFL episode will be going up, and then later that afternoon, I'll be tweeting out the link for the live episode. Going to be at the YouTube when you're watching this, INISPOD YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Link will be tweeted there. We'll even post it on the Instagram. I'll post some hype clips on the TikTok. Like, we're going to get it rolling, y'all. So I definitely hope y'all tune in. Definitely come join the boys, ask questions to our guests. Said it's gonna be a loaded episode. That one I can't wait. But we appreciate y'all listening all the way through. Um, Another NFL week in the books. We're headed into NFL week 14. It's crazy. We literally have 4 more weeks of regular season football. Season has gone by just like that. Another year.
Crazy, man. It's
And
fast, bro.
and as of right now, it's still way up in the air besides maybe the 49ers on who even can make it to the Super Bowl besides them, for real, for real. So a lot left to unfold and be seen, but we appreciate y'all if y'all listened all the way through. Your favorite kids from the neighborhood signing off, man. Y'all already know how this goes. Cam, what's up, Bryce? And we out.
Sir.
Peace.